Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, assholeconsulting.com. Go there to get, what, am I the only purveyor of truth? Would that be about it? Would that be correct? The religion, oh, we got truth. No, you don't. The politicians, oh, we got truth. No, we don't. Why is this thing going off? God damn it, I'm popular. Look how fucking popular I am. Jesus Christ. Close that off. Anyway. Yeah. So, to Aaron, I have a question regarding a close friend of mine. Before I go any further, I would like to apologize why I'm asking you this question. I would like to apologize for a lengthy email. It's not that lengthy. So, I have this friend I met in college approximately 4 years ago. She seemed really nice at first. After a time, I met her family and her girlfriend, I guess they're gay, and began to get a better picture of who she was. It wasn't until then that I began to see cracks in her life. About a year into knowing her, she told me that while working part-time at a place, she was on welfare collecting money to make ends meet. She then told me she's also collecting student loans and had lied to the school about her race that we went to. The reason I'm trying to anonymize this as much as possible. The reason she did this, as she explained to me, was to get a full scholarship. So she's a lying sack of shit, parasite living off of the taxpayer. She was able to get it while still collecting welfare, student loans, and a paycheck from her workplace. This didn't sit well for me, and I suggested that she do the right thing and stop collecting all this unearned money. She had told me she needed the money to help pay for her sex change and to pay for some criminal legal fees. Okay, I'm really anonymizing this. I asked her what that was about, and she told me she had some charges pending against her for assault, which she pled down to and only got probation. I said, this is like the biggest tip. This is why if you just cut welfare funding to these people, they have more important shit to do than beating other people up. They have to focus and work. After she finished college, she was able to get a job with a public entity, a government job. She was later fired from that job for destroying government property while drunk. Her employer mentioned that she was too much of a liability. It wasn't after this situation that the government found out she was collecting welfare while collecting student loans and a paycheck. She went to court to argue it, mentioning that the government was discriminating against her for being gay. After she left the courthouse, she wanted me to help her escape to the United States from Canada to help escape having to pay for this. Of course, I said no. My question is whether or not this friend is worth having. I don't know. What do you think? I talked about this in one of my recent videos. Not necessarily about the baby boomers, but leftists in general. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about. You don't refuse to visit baby boomers in the nursing home because they're baby boomers. You refuse to visit them because they voted for leftist socialist policies and screwed over the successive generations and ruined this country. That's why you don't hang out with baby. But then the thing is, it doesn't apply then just to baby boomers, because like all people, there are good and bad. In all ages, all generations, all groups, there are good and bad people. And if you're going to punish them or unfriend them or not have anything to do with them, and by punish I mean you ostracize them the only way you can, you refuse to hang out with them, you do so because they vote left, because they are socialists, because they parasite off of you. How much are you paying extra in taxes for this worthless, not worthless, I wish this person was worthless. This person is negative net value. Everyone, oh, the value of human life. No, the value of most human lives are negative, frankly. It's kind of scary when you get into, when someone dies. There are formulas to calculate the value of a human life based on what they make, what they do, all this other stuff. And it's very dark. Well, how can you put a price? I can put a price on a human life very easily. Like, for example, Hitler. Not a really net present value of his life. Kind of did more to hurt the world than took more than he gave, kind of, you could say, maybe a little bit. Osama bin Laden kind of took more than he gave. It's not, if we got rid of these people, the world might be a little bit better off. And this is no fucking Hitler or Osama bin Laden, but is a parasite on society. She is. So is this friend worth having? No. Your life is too short to hang out with parasites and losers and scum. This is a criminal on top, not just metaphorically, but actually a criminal. Assault, welfare fraud. Lord Almighty, I can only imagine what she majored in. That's going to be left. I can only imagine how she votes. This. Not only is this a bad person, this is somebody that can get you in trouble too. I think, what was it, Bachelor Pad Economics and Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. I make the distinct note saying you could be the greatest guy in the world, but if you hang out with bad people, you can get in trouble too. Someone shoots at them, you take the bullet instead. They're driving in your car, and some crack falls out of their pants, and then you get pulled over for a rolling stop, and then you're in jail. You do not hang out with the bad shit. Follows bad people and hurts those around them. This is a no-brainer. You get the fuck out of here. This person is no longer in your life. This person is worthless. This is a threat to your personal life. So you get rid of her. That's the least you do. So anyway, have a little bit more respect and get yourself some better friends. Honest to God. Toodles. Hello everyone, we got a video request and this is quite lengthy. So I'm going to abbreviate it for the sake of the viewers. And frankly, we don't need to go over all this. But a young man, his mother is going to be coming into some money, and she's approaching 70. And what is going to face a lot of us younger type people, if you have baby boomer parents, or just anyone who gets older, and assuming Medicare is still around, you have to lower your assets and lower your income in order to qualify for various government benefits, including Medicare. And since healthcare is the largest expense you typically have towards the end of your life, you can see why everyone's getting on. And then there's always the moral argument, I shouldn't be on Medicare, who should be on... No, fuck this bullshit. No. I know you moralist people on the right like to think, well, I'm not going to collect government check because that's parasitism. Please follow Ayn Rand's advice, and that is, you paid into the fucking system. Don't doubly injure yourself while parasites live off of you to deny what you've already paid in. You collect as much fucking government money as possible. So, bear with me as I try to find the key thing. Okay. I have yet to consult an elder law attorney on this matter. You'd be looking at asset protection attorney. But I did some digging and came up with the following. Countable assets refer to those assets that Medicaid will take into account as means of payment for medical care before Medicaid kicks in. Oh, you're Medicaid or Medicare? Oh, you're on Medicaid. Okay, are you sure you got the right one? Oh, we'll just assume. We'll look this up. Excluded assets are those that Medicaid can't touch. Here's a list of excluded assets among others. No more than $2,000 in cash. A house, condo, mobile home, or houseboat worth no more than $500,000 or $800,000, depending on the state and equity. And if you reinvest this money into another domicile once you sell the original. One automobile with no value exclusion. Household goods and personal effects. Funeral and burial funds and spaces, which means contracts for burial plots and other things like headstone, grave markers, mausoleums, urns, etc., etc. Term life insurance policies which have no cash value, which would pay off if you are the beneficiary there. And then the question is, okay, what are these investments? What should I invest in? Now, I can't tell you what to invest in. Right? I do not go down that road. But what I can do is tell you the pros and cons of each of these, or what I would do, because it's what I would do, and typically it's going to be the wisest, most conservative move. But you obviously take advantage of all these as much as you can. So no more than $2,000 in cash. All right, so you get the cash down. So you have $2,000 in cash. Your home, depending on the state, you got to find out what state it's in, and then find out where mom wants to move. All right, and then unfortunately, this money is going to determine your mother and your father's life from here on out, or kind of is going to at least set the tone for it. So that. An automobile with no exclusion value. Well, automobiles depreciate, so unless it's just going to sit there, and you don't want cars to sit there because the gas goes bad, the oil gets shitty, and then you gotta. So I'd eschew that. I'd avoid the automobile. Household goods and personal effects. Well, this is where you could probably have a little bit of leeway because, Sergeant Rumpy Fluffalo, much as I like him, he doesn't really have a lot of value. But you could have some nice furniture. Something that's sellable, something even more liquid, some nice silver things. What do they call them? Utensils, silverware. Actual silverware that could be melted down later on or sold. Some collectible items, art. Now keep in mind the value of these can go up and down, so it's not, you buy silver, silver frame or something that has precious metals in it, and it's considered a personal effect. Well, all of a sudden the price of silver goes down, so it could be just as bad as investing in a car. So you don't know what the price of precious metals are going to be. And then the funeral and burial funds, that, okay, if you want, you can have that. And then term life insurance, if you are designated as the beneficiary, term life insurance might be of benefit there. But the best thing out of all of it, I would say, is that house, is property, because property relatively maintains its value. They can use it, living in it, and then naturally that would be handed down to you in the case of their demise. And when you get why can't I think today? The fucking thing. Your inheritance. Thank you. God almighty. So anyway, and then you also mentioned the gifting. Yes, she's going to have to do that. So the gameplay, you're going to have to talk to your mom, and all of us are going to have like, you do have to do estate planning. That's what this falls under. You are going to have to talk to your parents, find out how to get the majority of your inheritance from them without the government taking a big hit. But also, as you plan for that, you have to consider, what can you do now? See, because estate planning, you should not be doing this when they die. It's too late. And the government's, the die has been cast. You're going to pay these taxes and fees and Lord knows whatever else. So you really ought to be looking at estate planning. At minimum, everyone should have a will. You should have a fucking will. So have that. That's nothing. You can do that online or just draft it up and it's fine. So you should do that, but then as you're still 50 years old, start looking at shit. It took you 30 years to build up this amount of wealth. Now you got to figure out how to pass it on to your loved ones without fucking Obama and whatever limp dick governor you got sticking their dick in it and taking it. So consult, I could just give specific advice to this one case, but in general, yes, it is absolutely worth it going and talking to an estate planning attorney. That's who you want to talk to. It is worth a couple $1,000s to talk to these people. It's worth the $100 or $200 you're going to do for the counseling, for that hour up front thing, because they will be able to tell you that. I've spent money on lawyers. It's worth it. It is definitely worth it if you get a good one. So do the preliminary work. Do the preventative maintenance. Do not wait until your parents are about to die. This shit has to be done when they're in their 50s, and you might be in your 30s, even your 20s. But if you are one of these people, you're olderish, middle age, start thinking about estate planning. If you're younger and your parents are going to do it, you got to get them in there now. And there are so many other variables. I would have to sit down and interrogate you, and then charge thousands of dollars, and then dispense legal advice, which I'm not allowed to do. It would not be worth it to contact me to get a specific game plan together. But absolutely, you guys go talk to an estate planning attorney. Find someone who's reputable. I don't say pay more money for the sake of paying more money, like it's going to be a guarantee you get a good estate planning attorney. But look around, do a lot of research before you select one. And then another thing is you're going to have to find the state. That's another thing is where's Ma living? And you should start with an estate planning attorney in the state they're living now, because they would know, like, okay, well, you probably moved to this, and then contact Bob. He's down in Tennessee or wherever your mom might want to go, or wherever it'd be advantageous. That's something that you may want to consider. So please spend the money up front. This is very good preventative maintenance money. Go talk to estate planning attorneys, manage your life, and make sure that all the shit you worked up for in your life is passed on to your kids, as much of it as possible, and not the fucking government and these fucking parasites that voted in the Democrats. Anyway, best of luck to all of you. Toodles.